Welcome to Atlantis University. My name is Juan Cruz Torres. I'm the Vice President and also the Director of Admissions for Atlantis University. And it is a pleasure to be here with you today to be able to share information about what it is that we do in admissions and how admissions works together, not only with financial aid, also academics and registrar. By doing so, we make sure that students complete their entire enrollment cycle and later continue with their academic cycle until graduation. So for today, what I would like to do is to present and give you some information with the different components of admissions and how we go through the process. There's always questions about how admissions recruit, what's the process? And that's what we want to do today. I would like to give you a clear understanding of the process in admissions to bring students into our school. So let me get moving. What is the admission department and what is our mission? Our job is to bring students into the institution. And to do that, the department has not only the admissions advisors, but we also have a telemarketing team, we have a marketing team, and we have a team that takes care of all the technology that we need to maintain our database, all the information about students, etc. And within the department, you have different special admissions that work with their international department, what we consider to be local or domestic, and we also have specialized group that works with our athletes, our student athletes. So what is Atlantis University mission? Okay, so our mission is really clear: to prepare career-minded individuals through quality education. There's a little bit more to it than that, but essentially what we do is that we educate people to prepare them and give them the competencies that they will need after they graduate to be able to work in their field of study. That's where our goal is, always thinking not just for them to come in and enroll, to start their programs and continue, but to graduate and be able to exercise and go into the field of choice so they can then build their careers. Within the admissions department, we have several things that we work with. For example, when we're talking about how are we going to do the selection of the applicants or the actual candidates for the different programs. And so when we start with this selection, there are a number of things that we do from the moment that the lead comes to us, if it's generated by any of our marketing team, or if they're leads that are actually referrals, which are very important, and those leads are essentially created by the admissions through the relationship that they have with our current students, and also the relationship that we have with the faculty, which plays a very important role with the actual referral programs to continue to build our cohorts and bring future students into the school. In order for us to do our job, we have different parts of our team that work together with us. And thus it's important that the admissions department, with the number of admissions advisors that we have, the telemarketing team, as well as the marketing team. And so we work in tandem to generate leads that are interested in coming into our school, so we can then build our cohorts and start our academic programs. One of the things that we need to do when we start working with our students and working with potential candidates is that we have to essentially determine what is the profile of that student. And by having an interview with that person and to complete certain documentation to include a questionnaire, that gives us the opportunity to get to know that person, to make sure that that person is actually qualified for the program of their choice. And we will advise them based on our knowledge and experience whenever they look for a particular career field, how our programs can be the vehicle that will take them, will prepare them to get to the career that eventually they want to build up. And that's what our goal is, always thinking about not just what's going to happen when they're in the school, but what's going to happen once they graduate, which is part of our responsibility. One of the things that we want to do is to collect detailed information about that person. What is their background? What is their highest level of education? What is their experience at work? Why is it that they want to complete any academic program at the undergraduate or at the graduate level? Our interest is to make sure that we have a clear understanding of how that applicant, how that prospect qualifies for the program of their interest, and how we are going to be able to make sure that we verify that their education, that all of their background will give that person an opportunity to be successful and graduate from their program. One of the things that we do is within our admissions process and steps is that from the very beginning, that very first conversation or first appointment that we have with that person, we move into doing an interview, which is a requirement for all the students in our university. They have to literally be interviewed by admissions. That interview is what gives us the insight on that person as to why they want to go to school, why is it important for them, what kind of skills they want, what is it that they like to do in the future. In other words, what is their career that they want to build, so eventually they can develop and they go to work and exercise within that career field. And so we have different process from the moment that we contact that person, the moment they set up an appointment, interview them, we continue processing their enrollment applications, and then from there, financial aid, completing their entire package, so then they could go to our register and through academics, and we can now consider them future starts for our programs. Within the admissions process and steps that we have, it includes making sure that the student receive a thorough information or orientation on the actual university, all the different types of accreditation, credentials, affiliations, certifications, different types of coordination that we have with other institutions, licensing. So we want the student to understand that we are a legitimate institution and that we are qualified to teach them. At the same time, we want to give them information about their programs. We want to give them information about the different process as to how to qualify for financial aid if they are qualified. Our international students, what kind of a payment plan they're going to receive, the cost, all the information related to the program. So when that student sits in the class, they understand and they have a clear expectation of what the program means and what it is that they need to do to be successful and graduate from the program. One of the things that is really important for us when we talk about the AU experience, what does that mean to admissions, to academic, and more importantly, to the student? When we talk about this experience, it begins always with admissions, because we are the first person that actually sat down with that individual, and to them, we are Atlantis University. So we want to make sure that we have a very good experience with them, so when they contact us, they realize that we're here to assist them, that our job is to make sure that they go through our process successfully and satisfied. And so when we continue and we talk about that experience that would have with us starts with admissions. Continue to the process with financial aid. And then when they begin their cycle with the academic program from the day they take their first orientation, the first class, to the day that they graduate and complete their programs. One of the things that is important for us is to make sure that the experience that those students received reflects the accomplishments that we have. And so when we work with this process, we want to ensure that the accomplishments for these students is important, not just in the sense of sitting in class, going to class, but the learning process. How they're going to take that classroom experience and make it into their success, their process. And so when we talk about that, we're talking about how we work in tandem from admissions, financial aid, and the academic department. The relationship that we have between admissions and faculty is critical to the success not only of the institution, but our students. One of the things that is really important is that when we talk about retention, which is one of the most important responsibilities that every single person that works in Atlantis University is responsible for, begins with admissions and continues with admissions throughout the entire life cycle, academic life cycle of that student. What does that mean? When we talk to students, one of the things that we do is that we build a relationship with them, and with that relationship, we build trust. So when students have difficulties, whether it be personal or if they're having issues with any of the classes that they're taking, in addition to the student support department, to the professors that work in faculty that work with them, one of the people that they first will reach out to is their admissions advisor, because we're the ones that we actually help them through the entire process. So what that means to us in admissions is that we have to be able to work with the faculty when it comes to retention. That means that if the student is having issues and admissions is the first person they reach out, we want to refer them to their faculty, to the department that can help them, whether that be student support, academic, because the important is the relationship that we have. It boils down to how we are working together for the success of each student that we have. I'm going to go back a little bit to the student profile because I think this is really important and something that everyone needs to understand. We do a profile with the students, and when we do this profile, we have a number of questions that we ask them. And what is the purpose of this profile? The purpose is to have a better understanding of that person. What are their goals? What is their experience? What is their academic background, their social economic background? So that when we build a profile, we have a better understanding of the character and who that person is. And that will help us identify future issues, to include the fact that we can then ensure that once the student is actually enrolled in a particular program, the student has the potential to complete the program. Our idea, our goal is to make sure that every person that enrolls is able to successfully graduate, complete their program, graduate, and beyond that, that they are employed, gainful employed. And obviously, everyone who works with private institutions, one of our responsibilities is to make sure that once the student graduate, that they actually will be able to find employment in the field or in their career. So in this aspect, the profile is critical for us to get to know that individual The profile stays with the student's file throughout their entire career or course with us, the academic life cycle. So that is going to stay there, and it's important because we're going to continue to build in that profile with the feedback from the professors, with the feedback from the faculty, and also student support. So as is critical for this profile because that's how we get to know them, and that's how we know whether they're qualified to go into the program or not. One of the critical aspects of our professors, our faculty, is that our faculty not only provides the education for that student, but they are also the closest to the student on a daily basis because you get to see them, you get to talk to them. They trust you as an advisor. And so one of the things that we want to make sure is that as a teacher, as a professor, that you have the ability to reach out to us in admissions when you run into a student that may have difficulties and you feel that some way we can support you. So there has to be a way to be able to reach out to our students, to our professors, but also through admissions as advisors. So we want to make sure that the students clearly understand that we're not only here, especially the faculty, to train them, to teach them, but you're also here to advise them. A lot of times students will have issues that they will confide with you, and they will basically ask you, help me, I'm having this issue. And it doesn't necessarily have to be academically related. It could be an issue with their families. It could be an issue with their job. All of these affect their academic performance, and that's why it's so important that if you personally are unable to provide the advice they need, and then we need to make sure that they reach the right person that can provide that advice to them, whether it be placement, whether it be admissions, or if it's something they have to do with family issues, refer them to the right person with the right expertise to assist them. For admissions, it's very important to understand who our professors are, and also product knowledge. You are the experts in the field as professors. In other words, we have a general understanding of what a program is, unless we have already completed that program ourselves, and then we can speak with confidence of what the program is about. But the fact is that we depend on the faculty to be able to do that. And one of the things that we have instituted in admissions is that we have faculty coming to us. They're training us, and they're essentially giving us orientations as to particular programs, what the program encompasses, what is the program is about, what is the goal of the teacher when they teach these programs, so that we as admissions have a better understanding and a better way of actually explaining the program to prospective students. In addition to that, another thing that we're doing is that we are inviting our professors, our teachers, to participate in conferences that we're having with specific programs. For example, healthcare programs. So we're getting lead instructors or instructors that specialize in healthcare, so that when we invite prospective students and we have video conference, instead of us admissions making that presentation, it is the faculty speaking with the confidence of being experts in the field, explaining to our potential students what the program is about. So this is an area that is critical for us, and it requires that admissions work together with our professors to make sure that we, as representatives of the institutions and those responsible for bringing the students into our school, are currently active in the programs and understand what is the program about. In other words, product knowledge. And it's a responsibility, and we want to take that opportunity to invite you so that you can instruct us and you can teach us what is the program about, so we can be more confident and knowledgeable when we talk to our students. As I was mentioning to you, one of the things that we want to do is that we want to bring faculty and actively participate within our admissions events. We want to be trained. We want to learn specifically directly from you about the different programs, whether it be a program in healthcare, business, information technology. It doesn't matter what the subject is. The more knowledge that we have, the easier it is for us to convey that information to potential students. So we want to incorporate our teachers into our admissions department so that we become more knowledgeable, more confident, and it's easier for us to be able to give that information to potential students. So again, this is something that I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have that communication between the faculty and admissions to be sure that when we give information to a potential student, that the information is up to date and more importantly, it is correct. One of the things that is important is that we are a team. Admissions, financial aid, registrar, student support, academic department. Keeping that in mind, we have a lot of responsibilities because that's what's really make our institution. Those are departments that really make up for our institution. And working together, we have a goal in mind. Admissions, bring the students, qualify students into the school. Financial aid to offer different opportunities and the ability to be able to pay for the program. Education is not only teaching them about the programs, but it's also preparing them for the future. Your knowledge, your experience, your advice to these students. That follow-up that you do is what's going to help us retain them in the university until they successfully complete their program and graduate. But our job doesn't end there. We also have a great responsibility to help and assist place those students to make sure that they go to work, gainful employment related to the job with the compensation that is adequate to their level of education and experience. Again, my name is Juan Cruz Torres, and the Vice President for Atlantis University, but also the Director of Admissions, which is a huge priority for me. And I invite you to come if you haven't met me. My office is open. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you can come into with admissions, how we can enlighten us with your knowledge, with the programs, ideas, and also how you can help us make sure that we can advise the students whenever they have any type of an issue. So with that, I'm going to say thank you to all of you. Welcome to Atlantis University, and it's a pleasure to have you here. And with you, we're going to have tremendous growth and success with Atlantis University. Thank you. Have a nice day.